Hello everyone and welcome. Today I want to talk about the nervous system and why our nervous system matters. If you've been watching the content I've been making and the information on my channel, you'll see that there are lots of practices talking about nervous system regulation. But today I really want to go into the nervous system a little bit more. The nervous system really is a tremendous gift. It is the interface that allows the soul or pure consciousness, which is what we are, to experience the physical reality, to embody our experiences. And so it translates for us what is happening in the outer environment into our internal state. So it is this wonderful interface between our internal world and the external world. The nervous system operates in two ways. The one is when it needs to take action, and it's in a state of reactivity, survival, when we meet deadlines. And it's very wonderful if a lion jumps out of a bush and we can jump over the fence, a 6-foot fence, because we have cortisol and adrenaline that helps us to do that. The problem is when we get stuck in that mode of operation and not shift to the second state, which is rest and digest. When the activity is over, when the hypervigilance is over, when we don't have to perform, we can just relax, and it gives our digestive system, our nervous system, our body a time to come back into center, into presence, into calmness. These two states is like the yin and the yang, the sympathetic and the parasympathetic nervous system, and they complement one another and they bring balance. The problem really is when we get stuck in this hypervigilant state. Now, this is not because there's something wrong with us, but because for a very long period of time we are under stress. Maybe there's trauma, constant pressure. We're living in a time where, the morning flies into the afternoon, and before you know it, it's the next day. We have constant pressures, taking the kids to school, finishing proposals, having to meet all our commitments, and it brings that sense of pressure. And so our nervous system is in this constant state of vigilance. I have often, and in many instances, have people come to me in sessions where they have basically been locked into this flight or fight or freeze response. And you can see that by them being constantly stressed. Their muscles are tense, they get headaches, they breathe very shallow, and often they just not present. They just racing from the one appointment to the other and are basically on in an automated response. So the real key here is, if you don't take control of the regulation of your nervous system, if you don't set your inner state, then being in the collective consciousness and in this chaotic state which we are experiencing at the moment of constant pressure and very intense energies, that outer environment will set the pace for your inner state and for your nervous system. Fortunately, we don't have to stay in that state, but it requires us to take action, even if it's small, consistent actions on a day-to-day basis, where we can start retraining our nervous system. Our nervous system is wonderful. It is malleable. It has this quality of neuroplasticity, and it can be retrained under our guidance. So that is why I focus so much on nervous system regulation and give you a wide variety of options and practices to help you, so that you can go into the library and choose what resonates with you. But just to recap here today about the 3 practices or strategies that is so powerful in retraining your nervous system that I would like to share. And the first one is breath. The second one or the first one is presence really, then your breath, and then your choice. So when you are present and you take back your awareness and you move out of that state of moving in an automatic way, you realize that in that present moment you have choice, and that there's an opening for change that happens with presence. Presence also brings you immediately back into a state of coherence and into your center. So that is a very powerful first action that you can do. The second is your breath. The moment you become aware of the breath, you start listening to it, you see if it's shallow or deep. It's like time stands still, the breath slows down, and it immediately signals to your nervous system that you are safe. It brings that stress levels right down, and that's a good thing. And the third one is choice. When you realize that you have choice and that you're not at the mercy of your nervous system or the outside environment, and that you can take control or regain your sovereignty or set the pace for your nervous system, you really come back into your own place of power and start resonating that inner power. So if you want to do these practices, sometimes in the beginning it's a very good idea to set an alarm on your phone, maybe to go off a couple of times a day, just to be a cue for you, not necessarily to do the practices, but to act as reminders. You can put those yellow stick-it notes on your fridge, on your bathroom mirror, whatever you need to do to remind you just to stop, become present, watch your breath, check your body. What's your neck like? What is your breathing like? Do a few minutes of belly breathing. Just relax the shoulders. Come to that place. Yeah, it's not as bad. It's okay. I can do this. I just have to breathe, focus, and set my intention. And if you do that a couple of times a day, very soon you're not going to need the reminders, and you're going to naturally, you know how you wake up in the morning before the alarm clock? That is what happens. And you just come back. Now, the whole idea and practice of nervous system regulation is not so much to stop you from going into hypervigilance for a few minutes. Sometimes it's necessary, but it helps you come back into center much quicker. And it places you in a place of power where you have choice to respond, take a breath, rather than just immediately react. In that moment, that the pause of the breath teaches you, the pause at the end of the exhale, the pause on the inhale, is your place of power. That is the place where you can decide to respond or say nothing, rather than react and have to fix things that are really difficult to fix afterwards. So I invite you to, there are many channels that are giving you options of how to change your reality, how to retrain your nervous system, how to come into your place of power. I invite you to do that, to retrain your nervous system, so that eventually, if many of us start doing that, and we act from a place of coherence, from peace, from clarity, joy, slow breaths, acting from presence, then we are going to start to change the collective field. Instead of the field changing us, we start changing the field. And that is how we create our new reality, how we bring in the higher awareness, and how we start to make the world a better place. So I want to leave you with that today, and I look forward to sharing with you some more information and some of my thoughts and reflections in the next video. See you soon.